Good morning, everybody. It's a little fresh, but it looks like it's going to be an okay day. So I'm going to be doing a bit of dry stone warning. This is my second dry stone warning video, and I'll try and do a bit more instruction this time rather than a commentary. So I'll switch the camera around and show you what we got. Okay, so here's the end of the wall. It's quite a good example, actually. You can kind of see the wall tapers as it goes up, so it goes like that and like that. That's how kind of form you build a dry stone wall. And there's a good example here of a through stone, this one, which goes through the wall from one side to the other. So the basic technique is you build two walls, one on each side effectively, and you try and tie them together. Obviously there's another through stone to help keep tying the two walls together. Otherwise you'll find sometimes they just belly out and collapse. Obviously that depends on how well the wall has been built. So the first job, you've got to clear all this out. Someone's been here before and obviously piled up some of the stone ready to, in preparation for rebuilding it, but it's not been done. So my job first is to clear all this out, and then I'm going to get some base stones in. So I'll clear this out and then I'll show you. Okay, that's most of the clearing out done. Yeah, but I mean, if you look at this wall, as you can see, it's a bit of a mess. Look at that. I could take some of the wall down, but it's been roughly repaired at some point. I think that bit's going to have to come down, but it's a case of how far do you go, because we're building a repair here, so we don't really want to take too much down. That looks a mess, so it's going to have to come down a bit, but I don't want to make too much work for myself. Oh, I'm panting. Right, yeah, I think next job, take that down a little way, as little as possible, probably just to there, so from there to about there. There's a fair old gap then, that'll keep me going for a couple of days at least. Oh, some big chunky stones in here. These are some cope stones which I've put aside for one for later on, the copes. These are the copes that you put on the top of the wall. Okay, so I'm going to take that down a bit more, and then it's time to get the base in. Right, so I'm taking down this extra bit of wall, like I said, and we've come across this big rock at the bottom here. Now I'm just going to show you this because if you can see, it's got a nice face on it, but the top is slanted. And you don't want to build walls with a slanted top stone, because the stones will kind of slide off under a pressure. So it's not already a great stone to have, certainly at the base of the wall. I can see why they used it, because it's big, but it's not ideal really. You want to be putting your stones in so they've got flat tops, ideally. See, this one here, which I'm going to be taking out, is can see that. And not really in line with the wall in the first place. And again, that's got a bit of a downward slope there, so it's not ideal. But at the same time, you've got to work with what you've got. So I'm going to keep on taking this down a little bit. I'm not going to go any further than that big one you can see there. Oh, you know what, I might have a coffee. It's about time. Black coffee. Because who has milk in coffee? Milk's a bit weird, isn't it? So I'm about ready to start building. I've decided to put a line in. I often don't bother, certainly on small gaps, but this one's a bit bigger. It's just a guide so that I make sure I get my wall in a straight line. So this big stone that I was showing you earlier had the sloping top. It's not in its final position yet. It's a bit wobbly still. I've dug it out and I've moved it so that the top is actually flat now. The face might be sticking out towards the bottom, but that's not too much of a problem really. Like I say, the main thing is having the top flat. So I think I'll set this up for time lapse and get some base stones in. I think I'll try and get some of the big rocks on the bottom, which is a good way to do it, and the smaller stones as you go to the top. Now a lot of people, they grade their stones. It's a good practice to do that, but it takes a lot of time sorting it all out, and I've never really bothered doing that really. I've never really had any issues. I just grab the stones as I need them, and there we go. There's a lot of rubbly stuff in here. The stone's not great. This is all kind of granity stuff. Yeah, but the main thing is finding a decent face on the stones. You can see which sides have been used as a face before because they've got the lichen growing on them. So for example, if I was going to use this stone, perhaps not a good example, it's not that good, but I'd probably use that side as the face. That as the top, but we'll see. Anyway, I think I'll set this up as a time lapse. See how we get on. So that's a lot of the base stones in. Not sure if you could tell from the time lapse, I'm standing on them to make sure they don't wobble. So next stage I'm going to, carry on if there's any big gaps, carry on getting some big stones in. I'm going to fill in between all the big base stones, get everything in so nothing wobbles, everything's firm, and then we've got a good base to start building up. It's fairly straight, in line with the line, pretty much. But the wall is only as good as the stones you've got to build it, so we'll see how we go. I'm pretty sure it'll stand up when it's finished. Right, more time lapse. So a couple of basic principles. when you're putting a stone down, it's good to kind of bridge the gap between two others. So you can see that here, there's one stone, there's another, and this one's bridging the gap between the two. You don't want any vertical lines, so you don't want to stack stones with lines that go all the way up. Another principle is chock from behind. So when you chock your rocks to stop them rocking, you put stones in from behind, because if you put a stone in from the front, it can come out that way as well. So in terms of structural integrity, it's a good thing to do. Another rule of thumb is, they say whenever you pick a stone up, you must put it down in the wall, so you don't just keep putting stones up and putting them back down again trying to find the right stone. So yeah, one more principle. It's good to work along. So I mean, if I put a stone in the middle around there and then another one there, I'm then left with a gap between the two, which I've then got to fill. It's easier to work along the wall, because finding the right stone for a particular gap is not very easy sometimes. So there we go. The ball's rolling. Onwards and upwards. So I've just stopped here because I'm filling this little gap, but it's not sure if you can make it out, but I'm trying to make these stones so they're all flat like that, and then I can bridge across the top with one big one, hopefully. And the principles I've explained previously, you know, I don't necessarily always do it myself, but it's a case of do as I say, not as I do. But anyway. Might not look too pretty from this angle, but we're getting there. It'll look a lot different when it's done. It's hard to see at this moment. All the background and everything was all blurs, and it just looks like a pile of rubble, doesn't it? Good things come to those who wait. Anyway, it's got to be time for a sandwich. Sandwich. Oh, right, I'm stopping for a break. I don't know if make your back ache, all this bending over. Oh, it looks rubbish from this angle. You can't see, like I said before, it kind of just blends in. But, you know, get a bit closer, trying to see what I'm doing. It's the rough bit. And I've decided the stone's rubbish. All this stuff. No decent faces. I'm hardly surprised it fell down in the first place, to be honest. So if we just go back to here. That looks a little bit better from here, from this angle. Well, this is my last bit of footage for today because my battery is dying, so
we'll leave it there and probably continue filming tomorrow. Ciao for now. Good morning, I'm back at the wall. Managed to get a bit more done yesterday after I stopped filming. So here's what we have. Getting there. Need to add a bit more height. As you can see, I've managed to get a through stone in here across the top. We're running a bit low on stone now. Picking through what's left. That's all we've got to work with, so we'll give it a go. So here's the wall up to height. Set a line up to get it to the right level. So all that remains is to put the copestones back on. I'll set it up for a time lapse while I do that, and then I'll show you the wall from both sides. Job done. There we have it, one finished wall. It's a bit like crazy paving, not too bad in the end. I had to dig some stones out of the ground because I was running a bit low, but luckily I found some half decent ones. Very wet here today. So here we are from this side, and I'll just show you the other side. Here we are from the other side. So there we have it. Hopefully you've learnt a little bit about how to do dry stone walling. Don't forget to bring your coffee and a sandwich. And I should say one thing about manual lifting. Try and bend your knees and lift with your legs as much as you can. It's obviously quite difficult sometimes when the big heavy rock's down on the ground, but you need to try and save your back with this job. It's not worth doing yourself an injury. So anyway, if you ever have a go, stay safe. Don't trap your fingers, because that hurts. I've done that in the past. Anyway, so if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Tick the little bell, smash that like button, and yeah, feel free to comment, and any future videos I'll be uploading at some point soon. This will probably be the last dry stone walling one for a while, but anyway, peace and love, bye bye. Thank you.